What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
And today we are diving into one of my favorite series. How does this rate for you?
It's enjoyable. This episode was forced for me.
Yeah. One of my favorite series. We are into season 3, episode 4 of Invincible. And this one for me was good. You said it was It was up and down.
So, the whole romantic crap of this episode, I get, Valentine's Day's Friday, right?
Yeah.
It'll probably drop on Valentine's Day for y'all. But for me, that was just took away from the enjoyment I was getting out of it.
Really?
So it wasn't until after it had the little one frame credit scene, I was like, oh, thank God that's over. And then they went into the space stuff. I'm like, fuck yeah, finally, let's go. That's when I got excited.
Yeah.
But we got the answers for the whole, what's it called? Declaration of Independence.
Right, why was it stolen? Right. Yes.
We got to see them go to the alternate reality.
I think it's just the future.
I'm not so sure.
It's the way time works is that you can go back in time and change things by altering the events. And so I guess it is just one possibility of the future, which could lead into a multiverse. I'm completely on board.
Yes, that's why I say not the future.
Great.
And they even hint at that based on their choices, it becomes completely different. Right?
Yeah, and they talk about it in the episode, yeah.
So they go into the future to save the world from Immortal.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
That was a long lead up for that drop. And spoiler alert, guys, I already know what's going to come. So I do my best in these to not spoil it for you guys who have not read the comics. But as soon as he said, is it a Viltrumite? And they're like, what's that? Like, you had to put 2 and 2 together. There's only one other person in this superhero universe that lives that long.
I still thought it could have been a Viltrum and them just not know.
Oh, okay. It'd be odd for Viltrumites to be in power and them not know it's a Viltrumite. They're very proud of who they are.
That's true.
Yeah.
I realized that as soon as I said it.
My favorite part of this whole episode, the return of Battle Beast, but we'll get there. Like that to me is like, he is one of the best characters in all of Invincible.
Seriously?
Yes.
Why?
He is just this powerful, bloodthirsty, almost Viking-like mindset where he is just in it for the glory of battle and will fight you no matter who you are, how strong you are, and can be used as a weapon as such, as you saw Alan do. And just knowing you've already seen him battle Mark and what he can do there.
Yeah.
And knowing just how fierce he can be and having him now helping out Alan, like that to me was like, that was awesome. I like that.
Oh, he seems the epitome of like a dumb fucking jock.
They painted, he's a warrior, right? So he's not he's very strategic, he is very smart, but he's not sitting down with glasses like Beast from X-Men where he's like gonna, make an antidote or solve some fucking equation. He's not that guy. But no, he's not dumb by any means, and he's very strategically smart, battle smart.
He's a bit fucking crazy too.
Insane, yeah. So he's
talking to himself the whole time and arguing.
Yeah, so he's cursed to endlessly pursue battle until he is slain. So he has to try, his whole thing is he has to go throughout the world, universe, and try to find someone who is worthy of battle with him, who can kill him.
So they have curses in this too?
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. Duplicate, and her brother.
Yeah.
Their powers come from a family curse. It's not like they were gifted them. It's a family curse.
Did they tell us this?
In the comics.
But not in the show.
I don't think that's the thing, you lose a lot of their backstories and a lot of the cool stuff in the show, which runtime animation, I totally get it. You got to cut a lot of stuff out. But yeah, by this point in the comics, you already are well aware that people like Immortal and people like Kate, their superpowers come from a curse.
I don't know if they told us that.
You do know about Immortal, that that he's been living forever, cursed to live forever. You do know that.
Yeah, but people usually just say that as turn of phrase. I'm cursed to live forever when they are immortal. Like vampire series, right? I'm cursed to live forever.
Yeah, in this case, in the world universe, not worlds, because it's a whole universe, Immortal, there are people, powers come from multiple different places, and one of them is curses.
Okay.
Yes. Some people get them because they were experimented on, which is Rex, Explode. Rexplode wasn't born with powers. He got his through like being sold to the government and experimented on. You got people like Mark who were born with them. You've got people like Robot who are just so smart that they create power. Yeah, it's like a whole different, like, there's no like cut and dry. You have aliens like Shapeshifter who would get his power because he's an alien race. So yeah, very unique, different ways.
And the moment with the grocery store, I thought that was a little interesting because we got to see Rex in a slightly different light.
Yeah, so spoiler, if you guys have never read the comics and you'd be interested in reading the comics and you don't want to know what to say, skip ahead about 10 seconds. But all this is brand new.
Wait, what are you going to ruin for
Not
me?
going to read anything for you.
Okay.
But all of this is brand new because Shrinking Ray in the comics is a male, and at this point in the comics is dead. And so everything you're seeing right now has been written for the show, I think, to give Rex more of like a relationship dynamic. Otherwise, he's not going to have one anymore. And Shrinking Ray technically never survives doesn't survive the Komodo dragon attack. It's showing you just how incapable superheroes are. Their whole lives are like basically training and regiments and these different things where to the point where they don't even know how to cook their own food, which is something they were talking about in the store. It's like they don't even know how to cook. Like they've never done it before. They don't even know what a cucumber looks like.
Yeah, that was a little weird to me. I wasn't understanding that. I was like, how dumb are they? Fuck.
They're not set up. They were never taught these things because they've always had someone taking care of them. Like Shrinking Ray said, like her parents basically fed her what she needed to eat.
Yeah, she was on a strict meal regimen.
Yeah. And Rex,
Specifically designed.
yeah, Rex was basically a product of the government, property of the government until he was old enough to be a superhero. And then he's just been living off of, mooching off of everyone else around him, like using their black cards and stuff. So
We very much understand the government's thoughts on food quality. So, yeah, I get it.
yeah, just give me a food stipend and I can probably find better food than what you're trying to give me at that chow hall. Anyway.
What I liked about that scene specifically is it shows that Rex is growing. He's doing his best to be a better person, which all stems from season 1, where he kind of fucks up and he's a man whore.
Yeah, so he gets caught cheating with duplicate. Eve catches him. Yeah. And from that point on,
It's been a lot of growth for him, which is cool.
well, actually, I think it really starts right after Monster Girl beats the piss out of him and humbles his ass real quick. And then I think that beating is where he's like on the show, where he starts to be like, oh crap, maybe I need to be more humble and be part of a team. And then it kind of just cascades down from there.
Also, Invincible losing his fucking temper, going straight after Cecil, thinking Cecil's the big bad behind everything that happens to him when he gets a little glowing orb thing that's spying on him. Hiccup. Random fucking hiccup. But he gets a little globe thing that blows up, and self-destructs. Hiccups.
Yeah.
Fun.
So we got confirmation at the end of last episode that Antrim Levy is alive, and then he's spying on Invincible. And as soon as Invincible touches his little spy orb, it blows up by design, as we find out from Robot, that it basically terminates itself so that it cannot be traced or discovered or blah, blah, blah. However, Robot's probably one of the most advanced minds in the show. Like, one of the smartest people in the show when it comes to like technology and all of that. And so if he can't figure it out, I'm not really sure that the GDA, because they have possession of it now, if they were going to be able to figure out like who actually is using it and how and where they are. So I'm interested to see if like that's going to be a shift and maybe they have something there that can be more advanced, but I don't know. But ultimately, this is leading up to probably my second favorite arc to ever exist in Invincible. And so like the thing with Eve and Invincible Mark in this episode where you're like, it probably wasn't necessary, the whole relationship, like showing you how quickly they're falling in love and that they've had sex now and that they're like truly a couple and it's not just, hey, let's try this thing anymore. It's like, no, we really are in love and like this thing's really working. Yeah, it sped us through that, and it gave us that, but I'm going to tell you, and everybody watching who maybe doesn't know, like all of this is leading up to something that you are going to be like, yes. So I don't want you to be like, man, that sucked. I want you to be like, yes, there's a purpose for this.
I feel like this is how we get this universe's version of Trunks.
Ooh. Trunks is my favorite Dragon Ball character, by the way.
I know.
Okay. Just in case we were wondering. Anyway.
That's what I got from what you just said. That's first place my mind went is, oh good, they are creating another version. They're going to have kids, and the kid's going to be even more super powered than both of them combined.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about two of the most powerful parents if we go down this theory for a minute. I mean, you have Invincible, who's Viltrumite, human, very powerful, the strongest superhero on Earth currently. And then you have Adam Eve, who, like, is also basically immortal. We watched in the Adam Eve special, her body, like, takes over almost like a Dark Phoenix would in X-Men, and, like, is uncontrollably powerful and unkillable. And so you have, like, that level of power inside of her, and then his power. If you were to put those inside of one vessel, you would be talking about, you know, an Omega level creature. Absolutely. I don't know if it'll go there or not, though.
Kind of like if Wolverine and Phoenix had a kid.
Imagine. Yeah. So much cool stuff could happen with the marrying of powers from super people. But anyway.
Yeah, let's know. What would your favorite of all the characters in Invincible that you've seen up until this season? Which characters, randomly or not, make sense in the story? I don't care. Let us know in the comments which combination would be the coolest powers.
Yeah. And with the way that they do, like, time jumps to the future or, like, alternate dimensions where they'll age, like, in season 1, Omni-Man gets trapped in an alternate dimension for, like, 30 years, comes back as, like, a full beard, looks older, but, like, was gone in, like, 5 minutes in our time, right? So with all these different like parallels and things that could happen, I'm sure with the show writers' imaginations, there could be a world where we jump into where we're 100 years in the future and we're actually dealing with the children of the Guardians of the Globe, where it's like the young Globe Avengers, or, you know, like young Avengers basically, but only their version.
I picture the writers of shows like this, like, going into the fan theories and like, ooh, that's a good idea. Ooh, let's see if we can incorporate that.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing a pretty good job of sticking to, like, the comics, sticking to the stories, sticking to the arcs. They've been doing a pretty good job of that, with the exception of, like, rights issues, right? So a lot of the other superheroes that are inside of the comics that we do not see, like, there was a huge issue. You probably saw it in all the comments of previous episodes where, like, you know, where was Brit? Where was this one character? Where was this character in this episode? They were so crucial. Well, they weren't in the episode because Amazon doesn't have the rights to have them in the episode. So either they took them out completely or they replaced them with someone else, right? So
Where was Oliver during this episode? I don't recall seeing Oliver once.
no, he didn't. Yeah, you did not see Oliver in this episode.
Which is kind of weird based on the last episode. Right?
Yeah, well, I think he's in, like, timeout right now because he killed the Maulers.
Yeah, well, look at what fucking Mart did, or Invincible did, with Immortal. He killed
Immortal. So, one,
I get that
one,
but that opens a door.
right, and here's the thing. We talked about it last episode. I don't think Cecil was wrong. I think Mark was, and I think there's going to come a time where, like the Batman code doesn't work. Right? Like, how many times are we going to let this guy come back and kill thousands of people before we actually do something about this? Right? And so you saw him struggle with it in this episode with Immortal, where he's like, dude, I don't want to kill you. Like, I don't want to. And Immortal's begging him to kill him. And then finally realized
He's like, just go fly into the sun or something.
yeah, suicide's not an answer, right? It's like, whatever he said.
It's a coward's way out.
Yeah. And then ultimately rips his head off. But even with that, with Immortal, doesn't kill him. So you gotta like take his limbs, separate him, and keep him separate for the rest of his life. Otherwise, he just comes back together eventually.
But is he, like, trapped in, like, a coma, just being in his brain?
I think he's just blacked out.
Who knows? That'd be interesting to know.
Well, because the last time he comes back to consciousness, it's as if time never stopped for him, right? Because they put his head on, the Maulers reattach his head thinking they're going to get control of him, and the very first thing he wants to know is where's Omni-Man. So it's like the last thing, when he comes to, it's the first thing he remembers was the last thing that happened. So it's like he was like still in that rage of that battle when he kills all the Guardians in season 1.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that part. So yeah, that's a good piece to remember.
Let's jump to your favorite part of the episode, the narrator. So one of my favorite parts of last season was, you know, when Amber and Mark started doing it, they would jump to Alan, and then Alan and they started doing it, and they would jump back, and they're like, oh wait, And it was probably like one of the funniest like little like pattern interrupts that I've seen them do, where like they're both doing it. So the narrator's like, oh, and then we have the unopened cat, and it's like it goes on many adventures, and it like cuts to like a Nat Geo style episode because it ran out of like, I thought it was really funny. And then they nodded to it again in this episode because Mark and Eve have sex for the first time, and as they're starting to do that, the narrator's like, and on other notes, like they leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah, we can't show this.
Yeah, but we get the official breakout of Alan the Alien, Omni-Man, who was reluctant to get broken out. I was very surprised by that.
Up until the very end.
Yeah.
He was ready to just die.
I think he believed that he was getting, like,
What was owed to him.
right,
Yeah.
proper judgment. But then also, I guess it was, he cared about Alan enough not to let it happen. I don't know what that really was, because from what happened on screen is different than what happens in the book. I'll just say that. And so it was curious to me that, like, the one thing that ultimately made Omni-Man decide to do something about it was the fact that Alan was letting himself get beat up.
Well, Alan also references the fact that he knew he was winning him over when Omni-Man went and said, I miss my wife. So in that moment, that's when he knew nothing was in vain. But we got to see a whole bunch more different failed attempts to kill Alan. That was a lot more fun. Was that after the timeline of that first laser?
I think, it's been while he's there.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Was it before that first laser, or was it after the first laser failed that we saw in the last episode?
So I think the laser we saw shoot him was like the first attempt to kill him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
Because then it shoots off and kills someone else. And then they move to bigger and badder things, and every time more and more of them die.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was hilarious, and it fed the theory exactly what we were talking about. They're just turning him into a power machine.
Yeah. He was only there because he wanted to be there. He could have torn that whole place apart.
Yes.
And he's strong enough now that with a single punch he already was strong enough to make a Viltrumite bleed with a single punch. Because he did that to Nessa before she arrested him.
He's able to take
On that.
beating from a Viltrumite.
He's much more durable now. Yeah.
Like, he was willing to let himself go the distance, but at the same time, he was bleeding and getting hurt, but I really don't think it was that bad.
No.
Because he was just walked it off like nothing.
He healed her almost instantly.
Yeah.
Even Omni-Man, Nolan points that out. He's like, you healed pretty quick. He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Love Seth Rogen.
No, yeah, I mean, he's embodying that character really well, and I think it's been probably one of the more fun characters to watch on screen is Alan the Alien, for sure.
Definitely gets me excited for the episode. That's why I said that the second half was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Once Alan the Alien's on there, it's like, oh, this is going to be fun. I don't care what happens. I can just enjoy Seth Rogen doing stupid shit.
Yeah. No. Stumbling through looking for Omni-Man, that was funny. Freeing all the prisoners, finding Battle Beast. It's like almost like sometimes the gunshots, the laser would sting him and hurt him, and other times he just didn't care. It was an interesting scene.
I think when he got shot by the lasers and he was going, ow, 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 I think it was more reflex, kind of like a kid when he gets hit, but it wasn't strong enough to hurt, but he expects it to hurt, and then when it doesn't hurt, he's like, oh.
Yeah.
That's how I saw that scene.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even like going through his clothes, so I mean, I don't think it was harming him, but yeah, that makes sense. I still think that bringing Battle Beast onto the team is probably my favorite, and bringing him back into the series. Let me know, you guys also have a fondness for the Battle Beast. You put Battle Beast, Nolan, and Alan on the same team. I don't think there's anyone we've met yet inside of this series who would stand toe-to-toe with those three.
No.
No. Alan, Nolan, and Battle Beast. Can you think of any current character inside the series, or even Team of Three? Mark would already got his ass handed to him by two of those three.
Yes. Before the intensive trainings.
I don't think so.
Well, you also know more about.
I'm just saying, without knowing where they go in the future and all that, like as they stand right now, I don't think Mark could even take his dad.
All right, so I got questions.
Okay.
Did Mark make the right decision killing Immortal?
Yes.
As if there had been another way.
No, he had lost his mind completely.
Remember, let us know in the comments your thoughts on these questions as well.
I believe he lost his mind completely. It played it out really well. He shared with you the evolution of what we saw Kate share with Rex. She says the reason she's with Immortal and that she loves him the way she does is because he's the only person who has a power similar to hers, in which every time they die, they feel it. And so that like as a heavy weight on that, it like wears at your soul. And Immortal has to not only live with that weight of being reincarnated every single time he dies and brought back and having to deal with that weight, he also has to live with the weight of multiple wives passing away, which means children, having to like lose everything he's ever loved and watch it wither and die. And he's done that now almost thousands, like several, like for a very, very, very long time.
Okay.
And it broke him. It broke him to the point where there was no saving him. The only peace that man was going to come was death.
I feel like that's not the last we're going to see of that. It can't be.
Well, you're not.
I introduce it otherwise.
I have a feeling that it's definitely laying the timeline of what would happen to someone like Immortal if you left him alone to rule by himself for so long.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is Rex's ultimate fate in the show? Will his character continue to grow, or is he doomed to repeat his past mistakes?
I can't answer that because I know.
Okay. Let us know your theories without hopefully spoiling it from comic book.
Yeah, I'm going to choose not to answer. I will let you guys. I'm enjoying what this series is doing with Rex. I will say that. And so far, it has been slightly different than what it is in the book. So if they continue down this path, I think we might both be pleasantly surprised on where it goes. But I don't want to answer truthfully because if I do, it will definitely give hints on where, like, what happens, his fate.
Okay. Is Cecil beyond redemption, or does he still have Earth's best interest at heart?
Do you think he doesn't? I don't think that the first question even really necessarily has ground. Because where did he lose himself? Right? To have redemption means you've lost yourself at some point. Like you need to be redeemed from this thing. What action has he taken that has been so far out there that he needs redemption? Mark's been the one off the fucking handle.
Yeah, he's going a little too far with certain things, don't you think?
Where?
His reaction to Mark, like he is constantly at a battle with Mark. I get
Mark's doing
reaction based to everything.
We haven't seen Cecil outright attack or try to harm Mark in any way. It's always been reactive to Mark's decisions.
Okay.
Yeah, Cecil's done some really evil and messed up things in the name of keeping Earth safe, but it's always been to keep Earth safe. It's never been for his own power. You've never seen him make like a power play to like take over or be evil. It's always been that service mindset, that protector's mindset.
At some point, you end up crossing a line, though.
I mean, in life and in movies, that happens. But I don't think that, I think maybe that I'm looking at that scenario from a different frame. And I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. I think Mark is the one who needs to get his shit together and stop blowing off the handle. Cecil's actually got it under control.
Okay. Was Battle Beast's return handled well, or should it have been built up more?
It was almost tip for a T how it happens in the book. So
okay,
there are some exceptions for sure with Alan's character and how that happens. But I mean, I thought, as I said, favorite part was knowing that he was coming back and then seeing him. Like that was great.
All right. If given the choice, would you rather be immortal like Immortal or have regenerative abilities like Eve?
Eve.
Eve.
I'd do Eve, yeah.
What about y'all?
Not literally, but her powers.
A redhead, right?
Gotta be clear. I have a wife who's a redhead, and there's people who are gonna go in the comments and get crazy, so I gotta be clear.
Okay, fair enough.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you've been here this long, then you're definitely an Invincible fan and also a fan of the G-Spot. So don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so and hit that little notification bell so you never miss another episode. We're growing rapidly. We're loving this journey so far. We cannot wait to see where it goes. It's been a lot of fun taking what we already love to do and sharing it with you guys and having you share all your passion for these things with us as well. This is a lot of fun, guys, and so just thank you. If you're not already a member of our Patreon and you want to be a member, get exclusive access, early access, and some other cool stuff. For little as a cup of coffee, you can join us there. And as always, you can check us out on this amazing playlist right here, where we've been doing some really cool stuff with some other awesome series, as well as this a playlist of other series that you can check out, as well as something else you might like right above my head. Loading. right here. But as always, we like you guys being here. My name is Chris, with me,
Liam.
and we'll see you on the floating videos.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.